Hi, everybody. It's Hien, and today is our class, and I want to go over the focus for today, the sort of theme for the class. And the theme for the class is going to be around this idea of practicing asana or posture with steadiness and ease. And I tend to always teach in a way that for the most part encourages you to practice with steadiness and ease. But in particular, today I want to share with you some thoughts on why we're doing this today. And so lately I've been feeling like I need to intensely move in order to process everything. So I went running today. And after I ran, I noticed that there was a lot of numb and stuck feelings from the previous week and this week that came out for me. From the hurricane in New Orleans to the floods in New York to the abortion ban in Texas. And I noticed a lot of feelings. I noticed feelings of grief, overwhelm, sadness, fear, and apathy. And I know that all these feelings are very valid, and that I know that there's no need for me to try to feel less of any of them or to try to weasel out of it. And so for this class, I just invite you to move through whatever you may be feeling, whether that's unpleasant emotions, like some of the ones that I am experiencing today, or whether it's something pleasant, or whether it's that feeling of uncertainty of what your actual emotions might be. And I believe that by doing so, we are meeting our times by choosing to not bypass the very real feelings that we may be having right now. And, and while doing so, while choosing to not bypass our very real feelings, and by choosing to kind of move through with whatever feelings we may have, or maybe even uncertainty of what feelings we may have, can we move with steadiness and ease? That's sort of the exploration for today. And again, this idea of practicing with steadiness and ease comes from the Yoga Sutras, which talks about practicing asana, which is what we'll be doing, posture, is done with steadiness and ease. And so that's our focus for today. And that's sort of why. And the only thing that's maybe an extra prop you might like to have, I would say, is a strap or a tie or something, maybe even a scarf, belt perhaps, because we'll be doing some stretches for the legs. And so it just might be helpful to have something like that. You might not really feel like you need it too much. It is possible to do without any props, but I think it can be a helpful tool to have. And so, yeah, we will go ahead and get started. I'm going to move to my mat. So, first thing we'll do is we'll drop in, so you can lie down, feet on the mat, knees bent, or you can have your legs long. You can close your eyes or soften the gaze. We'll just allow ourselves to arrive here. Noticing the back of the body touching the floor, the mat beneath you. I'm going to take a moment to do a quick body scan, just seeing where you can release effort or tension, noticing your head, your neck, your back, arms, buttocks, legs, and feet. And then Taking a moment to feel into the breath, just simply finding the natural inhale and exhale. You might notice as you inhale, belly rises, and as you exhale, belly falls. And then whenever you're ready, you can gently blink your eyes open if your eyes were closed here. And we'll just begin by bringing the knees in towards the chest. And you can stay still here, or you can just gently rock side to side, massaging the lower back and the spine. And then whenever you're ready, you can bring your feet back onto the mat. And what we'll actually do here, I'm just gonna scoot myself down a bit. So we're gonna take our legs long and we're gonna bring our arms up overhead. And so we'll take a moment here to just stretch from fingers to toes. And then we're gonna do a little bit of a core movement here. So as you exhale, we're gonna bring ourselves into that little ball again. And so I'm lifting my shoulders from the ground, but if you want, you can just think about bringing your chest, your knees towards your chest again. So exhale here, and then inhale, release out. Exhale, inhale. Just 3 more times. And then whenever you're ready, you can just come back into a ball. Your head can be down. You can just rock side to side again. And then now we'll go ahead and take the feet onto the mat. And we're going to do our figure 4 stretch just to kind of stretch out hips a little bit here. So we'll bring our left ankle over our right thigh. And then you can think about taking this left knee away from you. You can stay down or you can lift the bottom leg. And I usually do this still, but if you want to bring a little bit of movement, you can do that. It might feel good here to rock gently side to side or even back and forth. Again, just seeing if you can move with some steadiness and ease. Then whenever you're ready, you can release that leg down. And we'll do that on the other side. So same thing here. You can choose whether to stay still or to move a little bit and explore what sensations are here. And as you're ready, you can release down. And we will roll over to one side and press our way up into a seat. And we'll go ahead and just make sure that you sit with a tall spine, shoulders down away from ears. And what we're going to be doing is just kind of stretching out through the sides of the body and the shoulders, neck area. And then we'll slowly begin to make our way up into standing. So we'll first start off by inhaling one arm up reaching up and then leaning over to the side. And coming back to center. Bring the arm down, bring the other arm up. Same thing here. Inhale, finding length. And then finding a side stretch. And then coming back up and down. And then now we're going to do something similar, but we're going to add on. So first thing we'll do, and we'll just do that first side again. Reach the arm up, find your side stretch. And then you can exhale and bring the fingers down towards the ground. So we're in sort of a little bit of a twist. Inhale back over. And then exhale, this time bend the elbow so you're doing a little bit of a half cactus. And you can kind of really squeeze that shoulder blade as much as you like. You just kind of, maybe not really squeeze as much. And then next breath, come back over and up. And so that's sort of one round of how to do that. But we'll spend some time on that side and then we'll go on to the other side. And so I'm just going to be moving through it so you can kind of see, but you can do it however you like. Meaning you can stay in a form or a stretch for as long as you like if you feel like that feels good. So inhale up, exhale over. Exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And I'll just do that one more round. Then when you're ready, you can find your way up. And we'll spend some time doing the same thing on the other side. So like right now, I really feel that, yes, I stretch some things out on this side, not as much on this side. So we'll make sure to try to balance it out. So same thing here. Inhale up, exhale over. And then next breath, come down. Next breath up. And then bending in the elbow. So you can think about it as inhale, exhale. Inhale when the arm's up, and then exhale for the other moves. But you really can just breathe in any way makes most sense for you or comes naturally. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. I'm going to do one more round. Then coming up when you're ready. All right. So the next thing we are going to do is stretch out the neck a little bit. So you can bring your chin here, just nice and centered. And we're going to bring the chin over to look towards one shoulder. Doesn't matter which, since we'll do both sides. And then go ahead and bring your chin back to center. And then over onto the other side, looking over the other shoulder. And then back to center. And do that one more round. Side, center, side, center. And then we're going to change it up a little bit. So we're going to come to that first side. And then instead of just coming back normally, like just turning here, we're going to imagine with our nose, we imagine that we are drawing with the nose, imagine like a pen coming from the nose, and we're going to sort of make a rainbow or a half circle and come back. So just do that again so you can see from here, imagine it's coming from the nose. So I'm sort of like lifting my chin up and then bring it back down, back to center, just like that. I'll do that another time here. Okay, and we'll go ahead and do that on the other side. Chin starts here. And then it's like we're drawing a half circle and then the chin comes back to center. It's like weirdly nodding. One more time. All right. And then now we're going to go ahead and just draw circles with the chin right in front of us. You can go whatever pace, whatever size you want. And then when you're ready, you can reverse the direction. And then as you're ready, you can bring your head back to center, back to stillness. All right, so we're going to come into tabletop. So hands and knees, wrists, knees, shoulders, knees, hips. We're going to do our rounds of cat-cow. So inhale, drop belly, lift gaze. Exhale, round back, dropping head. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Moving through with a sense of steadiness and ease. One more round. And we'll come back into a child. So bringing your hips towards your heels, arms can extend out, forehead can come onto mat, or you can bring your hands on top of the forehead. All right, we'll go ahead and come up into a seat here for a moment. So we're gonna do some stretches that might feel a little bit intense. This is gonna be a stretch for the feet. And so I want to give you an opportunity to kind of see it and kind of options that you can play with before I actually fully come into it and set time. So I'm gonna have a timer on for just about a minute or so. You can always come out before I do if you need to. But we're gonna stretch out the feet. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna tuck the toes. You wanna make sure all 10 toes are tucked. So if you need to reach back and make sure that your pinky is also tucked, you can do that. And then this might be where you are at, because I know for me, just tucking my toes like this, I can feel that stretch for my feet and my toes. Another thing you can do is you can perhaps grab a block or two, however many blocks you have, and give yourself some support here by bringing your hand on top of it It is, I think, in my opinion, less intense the lower you are. And so to even kind of come on all fours and come onto your forearms, it is going to feel the most intense if you just come straight up with a long back. And so just keeping that in mind as you explore this stretch. And I'm going to set my timer for a minute now. Usually I start up like this nicely and I'm doing okay. And then, I don't know, we get to a point where I kind of lean forward and come down, and that might happen. And so this is also a good opportunity to just see if you can be steady and easeful. Use your breath. You can adjust your form, whatever you need to find just a little bit more steadiness and ease for this stretch. We have about 20 seconds left. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and come out. So to come out, I kind of come back into a table and I let go of that stretch. So my toes are no longer tucked. And what I like to do is just kind of tap my toes, tap my feet onto the ground, onto the mat. That was quite a stretch. Okay, so we're now going to make our way into standing. And I'm just going to invite you to come up into standing however you want. I'm not the fanciest teacher when it comes to transitioning into standing. Some teachers are like really fancy. I think the most I'll do is like sometimes we might come into a downward dog and then come up. So just coming up however you like. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to come into mountain and then we'll play with some balance. And so if you're by a wall or have something else that you can use as support for balance, that would be nice to have perhaps. Maybe you don't need it at all. But we'll start in our Robson Pose, our standing pose, or Tadasana. Feet hip width apart, all 10 toes pointing forward. You can lift your toes, spread them wide, take them back down, and press down into the mat. Let yourself be nice and rooted through the feet, tall through the spine, shoulders on away from ears. The only thing to kind of mention for you to be wary of is being wary of the knees, making sure that you have a micro bend in the knees and that you're not hyper locking in the knees. So you can't really see what type of pants I'm wearing, but I just have a slight bend in the knees. Still mostly looks like my legs are straight though. And we're going to do 3 rounds of a moving half salutations. So inhale up, exhale, final forward fold. Inhale into a halfway lift. Exhale back down, press into the feet. Inhale, stand, and exhale, hands on the heart. And I'll do that from the side so you can see what it looks like. Inhaling up, exhale down, inhale halfway, exhale back down, inhale, stand, and exhale, hands at the heart. One more round. All right. And then now we're going to go ahead and do some warrior poses. Well, warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2 at least. And so we'll take the feet out wide and making sure that all 10 toes are pointing in the same direction. We'll take one foot out towards the short end of the mat. Heel in line with middle part of back foot. And then you can go ahead and bend in the knee and reach the arms out. And then we're going to go ahead and move through it. And so actually, I should say, you have the option to move through it. And so if you feel like you just want to really be nice and strong in the legs, and you just want to be static, really grounded here, you can stay here. Or if you're feeling like you want to really move through some stuff, this is what I suggest. So we're going to inhale, bring the hands together and straighten the front leg. Exhale, open out. Inhale, exhale, just like that. And go at your own breath and pace. I mentioned earlier that I'm feeling like I'm needing to really move to process things. And so I'm probably going a little bit faster than I would normally do. And so you do not need to be going as fast as me. And we'll go ahead and hold it here after that last round, or whenever you're next in your warrior form. We'll hold it for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And go ahead and come out of it. Kind of let your arms down, straighten the leg, and we are going to adjust for the other side. So both feet in front of the other, and then other foot comes out, bending in the knee. So you're setting up here. Heel and alignment apart, back foot, shoulders above hips, reaching the arms out. And same thing, maybe you find that you really just want to ground down to the feet. Or maybe you find you want to kind of move through it. So inhaling here, exhaling out. Inhaling in, exhaling out. Finding steadiness and ease, whether you are standing still or moving through. Sometimes this is called dancing warrior. And then the next time that you are in your warrior form, you can go ahead and hold it. Go ahead and take a breath. And then releasing in the arms and the leg here. All right, so bring feet together. And we are going to play with some balance. So if you want to be by a wall, you can. I'm certainly feeling like that support of the wall, the back being supported by the wall feels really nice. So this is how I'm going to practice balance tonight. We're going to just come into tree. So shifting weight over onto one foot, ankle and heel meet. This knee comes out to the side. You can go ahead and stay here, or you can lift up. Try not to place try not to place the foot where the knee is, but otherwise, it doesn't really matter where. You could even just be here to be in your tree. Or Savasana. And so important thing here is to think about grounding down and then being tall through the spine. And then it's this knee that should be the focus of opening out. So this hip. It's a little bit of a hip opener. Take another breath. And then when you're ready, you can come out. We'll do this on the other side. So shifting weight over onto the other leg, the other foot, ankle and heel meet. Same principles as that first side. And being mindful here that this hip, or even this hip, that your hips stay pretty leveled and that they're not trying to hike up one or the other. And so I'm just kind of also noticing that with myself here. Pressing down through that leg, knee opening out, side, Now when you're ready, coming out. All right, so we'll go ahead and make our way down. And my recommendation for you is to have a strap. So I am going to show you what we'll be doing next. So we're going to come into the back, we're going to have a strap, and we're basically going to stretch out the legs. And then we'll do some other stretches on the back, or at least on the ground. And then we'll come into our Shavasana. And I am making sure that this is going to be a nice long Shavasana, because I think you deserve that. You can always come out of it sooner. I wouldn't know, but I do recommend staying through the Shavasana, if not for longer. So come onto the back. Strap or whatever prop you might use, bring it around the ball of the foot. Okay, so here we are starting off with our first stretch. And some things to keep in mind is that if this leg feels really tight, you can have more of a bend in the knee. And you also don't need it to be perfectly like a 90-degree angle here. You can have your foot further away from you. So that's just some, adjustments that you can make. Another thing here is that I do recommend having the arms long. So my elbows aren't like bent like this, but rather they're long. So it's as if I'm reaching towards my toes. And so this is where, some people might not even need this. Like there are people who are flexible enough, perhaps, who could just grab their toes or their foot. And if that is you, then that's great. But sometimes it's just nice to have a strap, just kind of something that you can feel and as a support, especially if your leg is feeling kind of tight. And then now we're going to take the strap into the hand that's on the same side of the leg. And we're going to open the leg out to the side. And it does not need to go out super far. It absolutely could. But it could just go out maybe a third of the way or half of the way. If you do bring your leg all the way down and it doesn't touch the ground, I do recommend placing a block or another prop underneath it just for some support. And so I'm today not feeling like I want to go all the way out. I'm just going about a third of the way out. And take another breath. As you're ready, we'll come back to center. We'll switch hands with the strap. And we're going to take this leg over to the side. So we're crossing it over the body. And if this leg feels like it's in the way, you can take the foot further away, or you can even straighten the leg. I happen to prefer myself having my foot on the ground because it just feels more stable for me. But you can do what feels good for you. And when you're ready, come back to center and we'll release the leg from the strap. You might even notice a difference between both legs. You might notice it more if you straighten the legs, but even without my legs being straight, even with my knees bent, I can feel the difference. So we'll do the other side. Same thing. Strap from the ball of the foot. And we're just hanging out here. Again, you have options. Here, maybe knees bent, maybe your foot is further away from you. Maybe you really walk your hands up towards the toes with the strap. Take another breath here. Now we'll go ahead and bring the strap into that arm, same side of the leg. And we'll take it out to the side here. Again, you can go as far out as you like, or you can have it not as far. Obviously, I'm a bit limited by the wall here, but even on that other side, I wasn't going about the same distance that I did on the other side. And if you kind of bring it out as far as you can, when it doesn't necessarily touch the ground, I do again recommend having a prop to support underneath the leg or the foot there. Take another breath. And go ahead and bring it back to center. Now, take the strap into the other hand, and we'll bring it crossing the body here. Take another breath. And then we'll go ahead and come back to center, releasing the strap, bring it back down. You can take the legs out long. And hopefully at this point, both your legs feel nice and stretched out, nice and long. All right, so the next thing we'll do here is a stretch for the front of the legs. And we're gonna roll to one side. This is bird pulling its tail pose. It's a yin pose. And it can be interesting. Cat pulling its tail pose. It can be interesting. You might like to keep that strap nearby. I think some folks might find it useful to have. But it's possible you may not need it at all. And since it's a yin pose, I will have a timer on. We'll hold it for a few minutes. So first things first, we're on our side and we take that top leg out in front. It's just going to hang out and it's going to be nice and straight. Then we're going to bend the bottom leg. And this is where the strap might come in handy. So maybe you can reach your foot comfortably, or maybe it might be nice to have a strap around that foot. And so you're hanging on to the strap. Either or. Then the shoulder, you can think about rolling it back. So it also gives a little bit of a twist here. And so I'm gonna go ahead and start my timer. And we will be in this pose for about 3 minutes. Again, always know that you can come out before I tell you to if needed. Although I do find this is a nice stretch to hold personally. I really like this pose. I remember I learned it from a friend of mine who is a yin yoga teacher. And when I used to go take her class, I remember there were times I would request for this. And again, finding some steadiness and ease as we settle into this cat pulling its tail pose. About 10 more rounds, a deep breath here. Finding your steadiness and ease. And then as you're ready, you can gently release that foot. And we'll make our way onto the other side. So just go ahead and find your way there. You can just roll onto your back, then roll to the other side. I'm just gonna move over onto this side. This time, I'm gonna try to see what it's like to do it without the strap. So on your side, foot comes forward, leg is just long. Bend the back knee, or the bottom knee, grab the foot. Think about opening and rolling the shoulder back. And just chilling here. This is a yin pose, so it's nice and passive. Perhaps finding your breath, finding your inhale and exhale. And taking about 10 more rounds of deep breath here. Steady inhale and steady exhale. Finding a sense of steadiness and ease here. Then whenever you're ready, you can gently release that leg. And next thing we'll do is we'll come into Shavasana. Next and last thing we'll do. So I'm going to grab some props to show you an option for Shavasana. You can do it however you want to, of course. So simple. You could have a blanket to place underneath the head. And then you can have a bolster to be underneath the knees. It'll look something like this. I would say that this is one of the more simple ways of finding comfort in a Shavasana without, needing too many props. Just some support for the head. Always move the blanket as well. Sometimes I kind of like to have a little roll underneath where my neck is. Give it some neck support. Oh, this feels really good right now. Sometimes I find that really helpful. Having something underneath the knees just helps to support the low back a bit when we have our legs out long. And when we're just like still like this in a reclined form like this for a while. And so that's what that's for. The only other thing here is if it's cold where you are, you might like to have socks on or a sweater or even just place a blanket over yourself. And so I'm going to guide you into Shavasana. And then I'm going to go ahead and mute myself and turn my camera off just to give you more of that silence. And then I'll guide you out towards the end. But of course, you can always stay longer than what I'm offering you for Shavasana. So you can close your eyes or soften the gaze. Just noticing your body here. And the props are beneath you. Doing a quick body scan. Noticing your head, neck, back, arms, buttocks, legs, and feet. Noticing your face, forehead, cheeks, jaw. Maybe letting the tongue relax. Maybe letting your eyes sink a bit deeper into your eye sockets. And just giving yourself permission here. Just permission to be where you are. Be in your Shavasana. And even here in Shavasana, we'll try to practice steadiness and ease. Hopefully at this point, your body is used to that. But maybe your mind is not used to steadiness and ease, even if your body is at this point. And so your mind becomes overwhelmed or distracted. You can just tell yourself steadiness and ease. Or you can notice the breath, maybe notice the sensation of your hands or some other neutral part of the body, just to help you find a little bit of anchoring and grounding. So yeah, just letting yourself be in your Shavasana. As you're ready, you can begin to deepen the breath. And take a moment to just notice your physical body and notice your breath, your mind. And you can take a moment here and ask yourself if you're ready to come out of your Shavasana, in which case you can begin to make movements on your fingers and toes before coming up into a seat. Or perhaps you feel like you want to stay in just a bit longer. But regardless of where you are, you can just take a moment to perhaps note how you're feeling now compared to the beginning of our time together. And so I will leave you with that. Thank you so much for practicing with me. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your week. Good night.